Welsh Church Act Estate Committee on the 19th of June 2023. May I remind everyone present that the meeting is being live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and this recording archived for future viewing. Could all participants please mute themselves when not speaking in order to avoid any background noise or feedback when other participants are speaking. If you wish to speak this afternoon, please can you raise your hand by using the raise hand function. If you try this function and you're not subsequently invited to speak by the chair, then please could you put your camera on to come on screen to physically indicate to your chair, Councillor Wilson. When invited to address the chair, please could all participants ensure that their microphone and camera is on to ensure they can be seen and heard when actively participating. If this is not possible for you for any reason this afternoon, please can you bring this to my attention or the chair's attention via the chat function. The chat function is for the sake of the recording. Please could you not raise any debate from the chat function, but you may use it to highlight any technical issues to myself or your chair, Councillor Wilson. Similarly, if you have any difficulty being heard this afternoon, then please could you let myself or Councillor Wilson know. Thank you, Chair. That concludes the housekeeping.
Thank you very much, Amy, for doing that. First item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Do we have any?
Apologies received from Councillor Morgan, Chair.
Thank you very much.
And I believe the rest of your committee are present.
Yes, I believe so as well. Second item on the agenda is the minutes of the meeting held on the 31st of January. This is only for correction, not for matters arising. Are we all happy with the minutes, or does anyone want to bring up any corrections? I got no one indicating, so I assume that we're all happy to sign it. I'm happy to sign it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is declarations of interest. Do we have any? I think we may have.
Yes, Councillor Wilson, I'm sorry, I can't turn my camera on, but I got a declaration on item number 5 and number 7. As I'm a Barry Town councillor, I will have to withdraw from this meeting when we reach that item.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other declarations of interest? Councillor Charles?
Yeah, the same. Exactly the same.
Thank you.
Member of Barry Town Council, I'd like to declare an interest and leave the meeting on agenda item 5 and 7.
Thank you very much. Thank you much, Councillor Charles. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda is the applications for financial assistance 23-24. Gemma.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me so well. Okay, is that yes. Okay for everybody? Oh, great.
Yeah.
So this is the first tranche of grant applications for 23-24. We have struggled and we haven't had a large quantity of grant applications in. We didn't spend the full allocation in 22-23, but I understand we've got a number of applications in process, and so would expect to have a number of applications in the next tranche. We have 3 applications as part of this tranche. We did carry forward, as I say, a sum from last year of £12,000, £12,120. So we're proposing that a grants budget for 23-24 is set at £67,820, and the grant set out in Appendix A of this report total £10,000. So if committee happy, I'll just quickly run through those applications.
Yes, please.
So application 1 is Penarth Methodist Church, so repairs to the community centre and access improvements. And we've had all the required information and evidence of match funding. So it's proposed that £4,000 is allocated to that application. The Forget Me Not Chorus, this is for some community taster sessions. Again, we've had proposal around the match funding. And we've had supporting documentations which propose £1,000 is allocated to that application. And then Croyser Park Chapel, which is in Peterson, Super Ely. This is repair to the boundary wall, and that application is for £5,000. We're still clarifying that all the funding required for that scheme to proceed is available, and so therefore we're proposing that the application is approved in principle until confirmation is received of those funding streams. Attached Appendix C to this report outlines the outturn position for 22-23, and we'll receive the full accounts to the next committee, and then also sets out some very high level monitoring and proposed budget for 23-24. At this point, I was just going to give committee an update on the investment position, because I appreciate that's a significant part of the funds available for grants in year. So we're still in progress. We are just in the progress of getting the letter of authority to release the funds from Evelyn Partners signed off. So it's been signed off by the head of finance. We just need to finalise the approval by legal in accordance with the delegated authority. And the application form is just being finalised. So hoping to get that progressed quite swiftly now. Apologies for the delay in getting that moved forward. And I can, of course, update committee once that's in place. And as you'll be aware, we do hold a small amount on behalf of the committee, so we can pay that across once the fund is open. In terms of the other sums, they're very high level indicative sums that have been set out at the moment. So the property and lease income is relatively stable, and then we just allocated some indicative amounts for valuations and other provisions across the year. And as I say, the total amount allocated for grants is 67,820. Are there any other questions on that report?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Has anyone got any questions? I don't. Yes, Councillor Hooper.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Gemma. Two things, really. Just the first thing on the FMMC community taste. I just wonder, why is their grant reduced by 203 by the very accurate £203.72? Is that a percentage of the total that we could pay? And the second thing, just related to the one that we've left pending, and this is just a question really about whether or not they were helped in their application process so that they actually delivered everything so we could make a full decision here, because it'd be a shame to see it decrease. Thank you.
I believe the one that's pending is because it's just dependent on another grant application being evidenced. So we're sure that the scheme can proceed. We should be able to resolve that relatively quickly once the evidence has been provided. I am not 100% sure though whether that grant has been awarded or has just been applied for at this stage. But as long as we award in principle, then it can help them then with their applications for other elements of funding. In terms of the Forget-Me-Not chorus, we do have this indicative 25%, but of course that is more than £1,000. So we could increase that award to £1,150 if committee are minded to. I'm not sure why it's been rounded down. And if committee are happy to, then we can amend that.
Yeah, I think Councillor Champion, are you agreeing with Councillor Hooper there on that point?
Yes, Chair, I think we should round it up rather than round it
Yeah,
down.
so do I. I agree as well. I think we're happy with that. Because it's a relatively trivial amount, isn't it? So let's do it. Okay, that's fine. I think apart from that amendment, I'm happy to move. Okay.
Yes.
The report.
Happy to
okay, and those 3 grant applications. So thank you, and I got support as well. So thank you very much for that. Let's move to the next item on the agenda. Okay, sorry about this.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just make sure Councillor Charles and Councillor Drake have left the meeting.
I'm leaving now, okay?
Thank you very much.
Councillor Drake.
Have you all left now?
Yes, they have, Chair, yes.
Yeah, it's now Carrotston Community Orchard Project. Okay. And I think... Yeah.
Okay, Chair, for me to carry on?
Yes, please. I can hardly hear you, Lorna.
Is that a bit better?
a tiny little bit better.
I'll take these out. That's probably easier. Bear with.
It probably is easier.
Is that better?
That's much better, Lorna.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's those my contact one veil here earphones letting me down again. Thank you. This is just a report intended to update committee following receipt of the qualified surveyor's report that was requested by committee at the meeting in October last year in relation to the Cadoxton Community Orchard proposal. The committee discussed the proposal at the last meeting in October of last year. Two previous reports were considered, with the latest update detailed outlined in the Part 2 report annexed to this to follow in this agenda. And it's basically outlining the recommendations of the qualified surveyor in more detail, and the details contained in the Part 2 agenda. So it's just an introductory report with a recommendation that the summary of recommendations as set out in Part 2 of the report is taken under Part 2.
Okay. I think, bearing in mind that most of the evidence is in Part 2, I'm happy to move to Part 2. Are you all happy that we move to Part 2?
Yes.
Thank you very much.